What happens when the most iconic villain in sci-fi history opens his mouth, and it's not a human voice you're hearing, but a machine trained to sound just like him? That question isn't science fiction anymore. It's reality, and it's causing a firestorm across Hollywood, the gaming world, and beyond. On the digital battlegrounds of Fortnite, a new Darth Vader speaks with words the original never uttered. The twist? Every single sound is generated, not by a legendary actor, but by artificial intelligence. And the consequences could be seismic, not just for gamers, but for anyone whose work might be replaced by a machine in the years to come. On Friday, millions of Fortnite players logged in and discovered something extraordinary. Their favorite villain, Darth Vader, could now answer their questions in real time with that deep, unmistakable timbre. It sounded like James Earl Jones, the legendary actor behind the mask. But this wasn't James, not even an ordinary voice actor. It was an algorithm, powered by advanced AI tools from companies like 11 Labs and Google's Gemini 2.0. For a moment, it felt like a technological marvel. Then, chaos erupted. Within hours, players manipulated the AI-controlled Vader, coaxing it into saying things Darth Vader never would: profanities, jokes, even threats. Social media lit up. Was this the future of entertainment, or a dangerous new frontier where anyone's voice could be hijacked? Epic Games scrambled to patch the exploit, but the damage to trust and to industry relationships was done. Behind the scenes, the stakes were even higher. The actors' union, SAG-AFTRA, filed an official legal complaint against Epic's subsidiary, Llama Productions. Their charge: Epic had deployed AI to replace union voice actors in Fortnite, without negotiating, without warning, and in clear violation of their labor contract. It's not just about one game or one voice. This case, industry leaders say, could reshape the rules of creative work, union power, and AI's explosive growth in entertainment. Let's rewind and understand how we reached this unprecedented collision. For decades, the voices behind our favorite movie and game characters were living, breathing performers. They brought emotion, nuance, and creativity to the roles that defined generations. In the world of Star Wars, James Earl Jones became synonymous with Darth Vader. His deep, resonant delivery was so iconic that even people who never saw the films recognized it instantly. But in 2022, Jones retired, his health declining, and granted permission to Lucasfilm for future AI use of his voice, with strict oversight. For the entertainment industry, it was a symbolic passing of the torch, and a signal that the age of digital replication had truly arrived. At the same time, artificial intelligence was racing ahead. Companies like 11 Labs were building AI systems that could clone voices with uncanny accuracy, using just a few minutes of audio as training data. These tools had innocent uses: voiceovers for indie games, accessibility applications, and reviving lost footage. But they also sparked fears. What if someone used them to fake a celebrity's speech? What if AI started replacing working actors entirely? The fears weren't paranoia. By 2024, the technology had improved so much that entire performances could be synthesized in real time, as in Fortnite. Billion-dollar companies saw opportunity. Why pay dozens of voice actors with their schedules and salaries and unions when an AI could generate infinite lines of dialogue on demand? Industry pressure built. Some studios experimented with hybrid models, letting AI fill in minor roles or background chatter. Others considered replacing entire casts. But the unions, SAG-AFTRA foremost among them, drew a line. They insisted on bargaining power and respect for performers' rights. It wasn't just about jobs. It was about identity, artistry, and consent. SAG-AFTRA's legal muscle came from their collective bargaining agreement, a contract that the studios and game developers must honor if they want to use union talent. This contract says that companies can't simply automate away human work without negotiation. They must notify the union, consult, and, in theory, reach an agreement before deploying AI that replaces actors. That's the heart of the current storm. Llama Productions, Epic's Fortnite developer, is accused of skipping these obligations and rolling out an AI Vader anyway. The union's complaint, filed with the National Labor Relations Board, argues that this action violates key sections of U.S. labor law. To quote Duncan Crabtree Ireland, SAG-AFTRA's national executive director, AI can't replace human artistry, and companies have a legal and moral obligation to negotiate fairly with their unions. Here's why this matters far beyond Fortnite or even the entertainment industry. If the National Labor Relations Board upholds the complaint, It could force Epic to pull its AI Vader, reinstate human voice actors, and, most importantly, set a national precedent. Every unionized industry, from gaming to animation to film, would need to negotiate over AI before rolling it out. But if Epic wins, it could open the floodgates for AI to sweep through creative jobs, much as automation did with factory work generations ago. This isn't just a legal battle, it's an existential conflict over the soul of creative work in the digital age. Let's look closer at the technology that sparked this conflict. Epic's AI Vader uses a combination of Google's Gemini 2.0 for text generation and the 11 Labs Flash v2.5 AI voice model. The latter was specifically trained on James Earl Jones's voice, with permission from Jones himself for Lucasfilm's purposes. But in the case of Fortnite, there was a crucial missing step: union notification and bargaining. Was this an innocent oversight, or a calculated move to test the limits of labor law and public tolerance? The genie is out of the bottle. AI voice generation is already a multi-million-dollar business, with startups and tech giants racing to license, clone, and deploy celebrity voices. Some, like Bruce Willis, have even sold the rights to their digital likenesses for use in ads and films. Others, especially families of deceased actors, worry about their loved ones being resurrected for projects they never agreed to. Katie Jones, an AI ethics researcher, warns, "The ethical implications of using AI to replicate voices, especially those of deceased actors, demand careful consideration and industry-wide standards." The term digital necromancy has entered the mainstream, capturing the eerie sense that the dead can now speak, whether they want to or not. Not everyone thinks AI is an existential threat. Mark Hamilton, a video game industry analyst, notes, "The economic pressures to adopt AI in gaming are significant, but companies must balance cost savings with ethical responsibilities to their workforce. Video games are notorious for ballooning budgets. Actors' salaries are just one component. For a company like Epic, the lure of scalable, always-on AI characters is obvious. But where's the line? If an AI can convincingly voice Darth Vader, what stops it from voicing every character in a game, or an animated film, or even reading entire news broadcasts? Should audiences be told when they're listening to an AI? Dr. Sangeeta Waldron, a digital media expert, says, "Transparency is key. Audiences have a right to know when they are hearing an AI-generated voice versus a human performance." The legal dimension is just as tangled. Daniel Damiano, a labor law professor, points out, "This case will test the boundaries of labor law in the digital age, particularly regarding what constitutes a term and condition of employment subject to mandatory bargaining. If the law doesn't keep up with the tech, millions of creative jobs could be vulnerable." Consumer reaction has been passionate. Online petitions urge Epic Games to replace the AI voice with a human actor, or, at the very least, to let players choose. Some fans celebrate the technological leap, while others feel betrayed, warning that AI risks turning beloved cultural icons into soulless puppets. A haunting emotional question lingers in the air. Are we witnessing the last generation of truly human performances in blockbuster games and films? Will the next wave of digital icons have flesh and blood actors behind them, or just the cold logic of code? Meanwhile, lawmakers are beginning to wake up. Calls for new federal legislation grow louder, aimed at safeguarding performers' digital rights and regulating how AI is used in creative industries. If Congress acts, Epic's legal trouble could be just the beginning, a signal that AI's days of unchecked growth are numbered. Yet the battle lines are still being drawn. Some industry insiders suggest a compromise: hybrid models where AI assists but never fully replaces human performers. Union leaders, however, are wary. If AI becomes the norm for minor roles today, what's to stop it from dominating leading ones tomorrow? As for the technology providers, controversy is nothing new. 11 Labs, whose software powers AI Vader, has faced public scrutiny for previous misuse of its voice cloning tools to create malicious deepfakes. Their spokespeople insist on ethical guidelines and user safeguards. But in the fast-moving world of generative AI, rules are often written only after damage is done. At the center of it all stands Darth Vader, a symbol of power, menace, and now, digital disruption. The fact that his voice, for so long inseparable from James Earl Jones, can now be summoned at the click of a button is both awe-inspiring and unsettling. The economic incentives are crystal clear. For studios and game developers, AI promises to slash costs, accelerate production, and create dynamic, interactive experiences never before possible. But for human actors, the stakes are existential. Voices are more than data. They're the last stand of human creativity in a world increasingly ruled by algorithms. Is this the dawn of a golden era where AI and humanity collaborate to create art that transcends both? Or is it the beginning of an era where digital replicas push living artists to the margins, remembered only when the machines reboot? As the National Labor Relations Board prepares to review SAG-AFTRA's complaint, the industry holds its breath. The fate of the AI Vader isn't just about a single character. It's about who gets to shape the stories and the future of our digital worlds. But as the legal drama heats up, a deeper, more unsettling question emerges. If AI can mimic anyone, alive or dead, who owns the rights to a voice, an identity, or even a soul? And even if unions prevail in the courts, will technology simply find new ways to sidestep human creativity? Or will this showdown in the world of Fortnite mark the moment when society finally draws a line in digital sand? The answer is far from certain, and the next moves in this high-stakes game could change entertainment, labor, and technology forever. But as the legal dust gathers and the world watches, the path forward for AI and human artistry and entertainment is anything but clear. What comes next in the Fortnite AI Darth Vader saga will ripple far beyond one game, shaping the very DNA of future creative industries worldwide. Let's dive into the possible futures that now hang in the balance. Imagine a world where every iconic voice, living or deceased, is just a few lines of code away. With companies like 11 Labs training AI on the legacies of legends such as James Earl Jones, we could see the voices of the past resurrected for every conceivable franchise. Blockbuster films, indie games, even commercials for products those actors never knew existed. This isn't science fiction. It's happening right now. Digital necromancy, as some ethicists call it, the power to bring the dead to life in pixels and sound waves, whether their families consent or not. But that future could be met with fierce resistance. Regulators at the state, federal, even international levels are suddenly racing to erect guardrails. The National Labor Relations Board could intervene, halting AI deployment, reinstating human workers, and mandating bargaining. If courts side with SAG-AFTRA, unionized creative sectors might win sweeping new powers over how AI-generated content is used, ensuring that the voices we hear, whether human, digital, or something in between, come with clear consent and fair compensation. Duncan Crabtree Ireland, SAG-AFTRA's National Executive Director, puts it plainly. AI can't replace human artistry, and companies have a legal and moral obligation to negotiate fairly with their unions. Still, industry pressures aren't going away. Gaming executives see in AI a tantalizing promise. Content made faster, at lower cost, unbounded by the schedules and salaries of human performers. Mark Hamilton, a leading industry analyst, warns, the economic pressures to adopt AI in gaming are significant, but companies must balance cost savings with ethical responsibilities to their workforce. Picture two paths ahead. In one, we get a regulatory clampdown. Stricter rules force every studio using AI voices to bargain with unions, limit synthetic performances without consent, and demand full transparency every time a digital replica takes the stage. Actors might even win the right to license their voices, with new streams of income for every game, movie, or app that samples their signature style. In another dystopian scenario, the algorithmic tsunami arrives. Studios, freed from regulatory friction, replace swathes of human cast members with customizable AI. The industry bifurcates. A-list stars negotiate for digital residuals, but thousands of working actors, already struggling, watch their livelihoods dissolve. Online, the lines blur. Was that a human or a machine in the latest viral clip? Do you care? But there's a third, quieter future emerging. Some studios experiment with hybrid models, where AI augments, not replaces, human performers. Actors record core dialogue, with AI filling out generic lines or minor characters. Katie Jones, an AI ethics researcher, explains, the ethical implications of using AI to replicate voices, especially those of deceased actors, demand careful consideration and industry-wide standards. If this middle road wins out, actors might retain creative control, unions stay relevant, and studios get efficiency without sacrificing artistry. Yet that compromise is fragile. The SAG-AFTRA case has forced every major studio, game developer, and talent agency to confront a new reality. Technology always races ahead of ethics and law. What does all this mean for you, the players, fans, creators, and everyday digital citizens? First, it's about the content you love. If you cherish the voice of a favorite character, understanding how they're brought to life by a real artist or an AI trained on stolen snippets matters more than ever. As Dr. Sangeeta Waldron, a digital media expert, notes, transparency is key. Audiences have a right to know when they are hearing an AI-generated voice versus a human performance. Next, your choices matter. Online petitions demanding Epic Games hire human voice actors are already making waves. Public backlash against synthetic performances has forced studios to rethink release plans. If you feel strongly, add your voice. Vote with your wallet and your attention. But there's an even more practical lesson. We are all, in some way, becoming digital creatives. AI voice technology isn't limited to Hollywood blockbusters or billion-dollar games. Tools once reserved for mega studios are now in your browser. Text-to-speech apps, deepfake creators, even real-time AI dubs for YouTube videos. Whether you're a streamer, podcaster, or small business owner, this technology gives you superpowers. Need a custom voiceover for a promo? A virtual narrator for your indie game? AI can do it, sometimes for free. The lines that separated amateur from professional are blurring. Just remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Don't use someone else's likeness or voice without clear consent. What's happening at the top of the industry is setting the standards for everyone below. As regulations gallop to catch up, keep an eye on how the law defines digital identity. Are you protected if someone trains an AI to mimic your voice? What if you want to monetize your own digital replica? The cases being fought now will shape your rights for decades. And here's the heart of it. This fight isn't just about actors or unions, but about creative labor itself. Ira Rothkin, a top technology lawyer, says, "This case underscores the urgent need for clear legal frameworks surrounding AI's use in entertainment to protect performers' rights." The secret fact few realize? Many leading actors are already quietly negotiating the terms of their digital afterlives. Bruce Willis, for example, has sold the rights to his likeness for AI deepfake projects. While this can offer new revenue streams, it also opens the door to ethical gray zones and uncomfortable questions. Will the stars of tomorrow need to plan not just for their careers, but for their digital ghosts? So who really owns a voice in the digital age? Legally, it depends on contracts, state laws, and industry practices. Morally, the answer is more complicated. The voice belongs to the human who shaped it, the estate who preserves it, and the culture who treasures it. But in practical terms, unless unions, lawmakers, and the public take action, ownership may default to those with the best algorithms and deepest pockets. The Fortnite Darth Vader controversy marks a turning point, a digital canary in the coal mine. If unions win, we might enter a new renaissance where human creativity and AI coexist, with rights and respect for all contributors. If not, the industry risks an era of creative commodification, where artistry is sampled, synthesized, and sold with little regard for its human origins. Here's the bottom line. The fate of human creativity in the face of algorithmic power isn't just a question for lawyers or actors. It's a question for all of us. The story of AI Darth Vader is the story of the digital age itself, how we honor our voices, our memories, our humanity. If you're passionate about the future of art, work, and technology, stay informed. Support fair labor. Demand transparency from the companies you love. And before you click play on that next game or video, consider, do you know whose voice is really speaking to you? As always, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you welcome AI-driven creativity, or do you think it's gone too far? Would you want your voice immortalized by an algorithm? Tell us below. If you found this story eye-opening, hit like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs to hear it. And